Everybody got their mics on? Okay. Well,
Yes.
yes. I figured as much. And I know his face.
Is McClure here tonight?
If he hasn't arrived yet,
Okay.
I'll lean on you.
Glad
If-
to
yeah. I'm gonna let this slide about another 2 minutes, and then we're getting going.
And we're not going to do that until, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to do the council.
No, we're gonna no the notice for E-911 is 5:45. Correct. Yeah, correct. All right. Thank you very much for joining us a little early. We're going to go ahead and get started on our E-911 meeting. That being said, we'll go ahead and call to order. Councilman London,
President?
Councilwoman Cuellar,
Here.
Councilman Box,
Here.
Councilman Sims,
Here.
and myself present as well. First order of business for this agenda for this E-911 meeting is the approval of the minutes from the February 4th, 2025 meeting. May we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from February 24th, 2025.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next order of business will be the one single agenda item that we have this evening. It would be resolved that resolution number 002-25 authorizes the execution of a service level agreement by Chief Jason Wiggins or his designee with Mobile Communications America, Inc. for radio maintenance service in an amount not to exceed $16,800 per year. Chief Wiggins, if you would be so kind. Anything to say about it?
It's basically the maintenance on our handhelds. The contract was actually expired with a bunch of other ones back in November.
Okay.
And I don't know if it got lost. There were several contracts, but they've been still doing the maintenance on it. So we just needed to.
Just renew it?
Yes, sir.
They've got renewal
Renewal,
written now.
it is renewal.
Okay, gotcha. Councilman London, any questions? Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
Questions?
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Thank you very much, sir. That being said, I would ask for a motion on 002-25.
Motion to be approved.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor? Aye. All right. That being said, I would ask for a motion for the adjournment of our E-911 meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We will get started in 10 minutes with our regular 6 o'clock city council meeting. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was watching the clock. Yeah. Greetings. Thank you for joining us this evening. The last thing I mean to do is tamp down what seems to be fun and enlightened conversation, but we have stuff to do tonight, so please stick around and visit afterwards. That being said, Pastor McClure, if you would do the honors.
Good evening, everyone. Amen. First, giving honor and glory to God in the presence of our mayor, council, and every distinguished guest. We greatly thank you for being here. We're going to ask if you would hear a passage of scripture, Second Chronicles 2:20. It says, "I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. Yet it's not I, but it's the Christ that liveth in me. For the life I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me." One other that I thought would be interesting tonight, I'll do it next week. I'll give you that one next week. How about it? Let's bow in a word of prayer. Eternal and gracious God, our Father, we love you so much for who you are. Thank you for the love that you share toward us. We're so grateful, God, to be living in this, the greatest time in Christendom. We're praying that you'll continue to have your word, your will, and your way to be performed in our lives. Now, God, we don't have to invite you into these chambers because you're omnipresent. You're everywhere. God, we don't ask you to search our hearts because you're omniscient. You know all things. But we do ask is that you allow your perfect will to be enacted, that you allow all of us to handle your business, God, decently and in order, that in the end you might get all honor, all glory, and all praise. In the strong, perfect name of Jesus, we pray. Let all the people say to God, amen, amen. And amen. Ready? Pledge.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Pastor. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Boyle.
Here.
Councilman Box.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself present as well. First order of business would be approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting on March 4th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, second by Councilman Sims. All in favor?
Aye.
Next order of business would be the bills. If we can get a motion for the payment of the bills.
Motion to pay the bills in the amount of $1,004,582.15.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion, second by Councilman London.
Council President Spivey, we had, as you know, our city clerk notified us to let us know about the difficulty they had in bringing in the information and had put some on a spreadsheet. And then they had some additional additions that were made, which changed the amount. And because of the tornado and all, I did not have a chance to come in and really take a look in the description payable field. It just had monthly credit card bill and all of the, I'd say 95% of the entries. And it makes it really difficult to know what was purchased. Even though we've got a category, you can't really see what it was that was purchased. And my understanding is that this will hopefully be corrected. I am supposed to meet with the mayor and our city clerk sometime before April, right? We had discussed. Well, didn't we discuss doing it before April?
I didn't discuss anything. What did I say?
Y'all can discuss
Okay,
your meeting.
but you asked me to get with them before. We were going to do it tonight, but the mayor did say that it would not be easy. So this is why April was brought up. And I would like to sit down with them. The council did ask that I sit down with them to explain what it was that was needed for us for information so that we can have clear information and not something that says monthly credit card bill. So I did want to follow up with that. And I will be following up with both the mayor and our city clerk to see when it's convenient to sit down with them and discuss it. Thank you.
Understood. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions?
I'm going to abstain. I'm not against paying the bills, but I don't have enough information. Thank you.
At this time, now that we've approved the minutes and paid the bills, Mayor, you have the floor, sir. Time for your report.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
I'm gonna say that one more time. It sounds so dry. I would like to say good evening to everyone. Thank you all for coming out to be a part of the deliberations of the city. Hopefully there is something that you will glean from this meeting that you did not know before you came through the door. I have several things to be able to announce, so if you all just bear with me, I would really appreciate it. Today, before we had an opportunity to come to our city council meeting, I had a chance to go up to Shays Valley High School and hang out with the young ladies on the soccer team. Their record is 10-2-2. They are playing to go into the playoffs. They have one young lady that's been offered a scholarship to attend Alabama State University. I told her, everybody can't go to TSU to be a Tiger, but I still took the photo with them. I really enjoyed being a part of it, and I told them after their season, I would love for them to come down to city council meeting so you all could get a chance to know them. Also, this wasn't a part of my report, but since he harassed me when I came in tonight, I'm still going to say happy retirement to Mr. Joe Meads. You all give Joe a hand. He wanted to know, why would I go to the SEC basketball tournament when his retirement party was given on the same day? I told him Auburn and Alabama kind of trumped him on that day there, but I just wanted to give Joe his flowers. Not only has he been a city engineer for 12 years when I became the city clerk in 2012, but he's also a good friend as well. And I just want to say happy retirement. His last day is Friday. I'm really going to miss him. I'm going to have to deal with his brother now that is not as jovial as Joe, but I think we'll be able to make it. Joe, thank you for the service that you gave to the city of Irondale. Joe's also a resident of the city of Irondale, so we appreciate that. On yesterday, I had a chance to be able to attend a ribbon cutting for the ranch house. If you all haven't been there yet, they have some delicious food. I went in on last Wednesday, which I was escorted by Officer Merchant, and we went in and had a chance to be able to dine. They asked me, Mayor, would you come back on Monday and would you set up a ribbon cutting for us? We were glad to be able to do that, and we turned out in numbers on yesterday to be able to celebrate their soft opening. Within a few weeks, once they get the lunch menu down, they're thinking about going to having a breakfast menu. So we're really looking forward to that as well. Now let me give you some dates quickly. I think you all will be interested in these dates. On April the 9th, we're having what is called a Parks and Paving meeting. We will go through the Park Master Plan, and I will also unveil to you the roads or the paving plan that we have for the upcoming fiscal year. On April the 16th, we're having a finance meeting where we will go through the city finances. I agreed to making sure that we have a mid-year review. We're going to be able to keep our word as we speak. Lee is going through all of the entries and stuff, and we want to make sure that we come back and to be able to present a budget to be able to run through the end of FY25. We're having a town hall meeting on March the 25th. For those who did not come to the State of the City at Church of the Highlands, we're having a free State of the City here on March the 25th. I'm looking forward to everybody come out and to be a part of it. We're going to talk about capital projects, city finances, the Park Master Plan. I really want you all to be here to be a part of it. Now on April the 12th, we're having the Jefferson County Hazardous Waste Drop-Off. That's going to be at Classic Car Motoring. It usually starts around, is it 7 in the morning? 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. I know people start lining up at 5 in the morning, which means that if you have something, you may want to get there early. On April the 13th, we're having the Easter Egg Experience Egg Hunt. We will be giving away almost 10,000 eggs. And we will be doing that at the new Ruffner Park Sports Complex. We're going to have one of the fields for the smaller kids. We're going to have one of the fields for the larger kids. And we're going to have another field for everybody over 65. We usually have to deal with everybody running over everybody to be able to, the bigger people are running over the little people. Well, now, because we have this wonderful $8.6 million complex out there, we're going to make sure that we maximize it. We're going to have the Easter egg hunt there, 3 different fields. Everybody gets an opportunity to be able to get some eggs. On May the 7th, we're having the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast at Church of the Highlands. Our keynote speaker, or the individual that I would have a fireside chat with, is going to be Mr. Anthony Ray Hinton. Mr. Hinton wrote a book, The Sun Does Shine. He was incarcerated in the state of Alabama for over 30 years. They found out that he was innocent and they let him go, but they did not give him a dime. So he's going to be a part of our prayer breakfast. He's going to talk about, now this is real forgiveness with faith, because if somebody locked me up for 30 years and didn't give me a dime, I think I'd be pretty upset about that. But I encourage everybody to come out and to be a part of hearing this wonderful event with Mr. Anthony Ray Hinton. Also on April the 12th, we're having Young Entrepreneurs Day. That's going to be at Shades Valley High School. Matter of fact, if you want to look at Talk of Alabama tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I will be on their talk show with 2 of the participants that are going to be in the entrepreneurs event. It's going to be Miss Stella Greganis that lives in the city of Irondale, and we also have AJ, Mr. Lemonade Man. So I'm going to allow them to be able to do all the talking, to train a child in the way that they should go. And when they are old, they will not depart from it. So we're going to allow them to get a little media activity to be able to talk about that event. And if you want to know what really goes on in government, I encourage you to sign up for the Citizen Engagement Institute. That's going to begin April the 3rd, ends on May 8th. 2 hours. You get to hear from each department head. You get the chance to be able to ask them questions. But the most important thing is you learn how to be able to navigate through the municipal complex. When you have questions, who you need to call, who you need to talk to, they will all be there. We are looking forward. We usually average about 30 people. If you want to know what really goes on in the city, I'll do a municipal one-on-one on finances, municipal finances, to help people to be able to understand that process. But our department heads, I am blessed to be able to have some great people that work for the city. I never got a chance to be able to share this with you all, but in January, we had a media day, and each department head, and there were 8 individuals that were here from the media from all of the major networks, and they had a chance to be able to get up and give a 3-minute spiel about their department. I can truly say we probably ended up with about 21 different articles from being broadcast on TV, and the life of the party. Who would you guess, who was the best department head at Media Day? Anybody want to take a shot? No, it was our building inspector, Greg Cochran. Good old Greg. Greg spoke with truth, came up with his boots and blue jeans on, and he outshined all of us. I want to give a shout out for Greg for the way that he performed on Media Day. But if you all want to be able to hear him, make sure you come out to the Citizen Engagement Institute to be able to hear them. And the last thing I want to say is we threw some dirt this morning. You know, we like to throw dirt. Foxhound Bee Company is locating their new facility right across the street from the baseball park. And guess why they decided to come to Irondale, or even to locate their facility where they put it today? Because, nobody wants to come to Irondale, and it wasn't the fire chief, but the reason that they decided to put their facility there because of the investment that the city made in the baseball field. So you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, the results and the receipts are out there on Ruffner Road. I believe that's everything that I got to say. Kim, I got anything else? I'm good. Okay, Kim said I'm good. All right. Well, we have a couple of awards we want to be able to give out tonight. If you are here by surprise, if somebody lied to get you to the meeting, forgive them, for they know not what they doeth. But the reason that you are here, because you have been selected as one of the Iron woman in the city of Irondale. And we want to celebrate you tonight for all the hard work. I know, Pastor Mike, you lied to Angie, didn't you? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. But I'm going to present the awards, and I have a story behind everybody because I know everybody that was selected. So let me just get to the awards because I know you all don't want to stay here to the rest of the council meeting anyway, right? It's okay. You're still going to get the award. Still going to give it to you. All right, our first Iron woman, the city of Irondale. She is a principal at Grantswood Elementary School. We just went up there the other day, and delivered a check, and she did not know that she was getting this award. But Dr. Hodge has done a magnificent job of turning Grantswood School around, and we just wanted to celebrate you. You just don't know how bad I wanted to tell you the other day because they know that I can't keep a secret. But thank you. Well, we wanted to make sure that we honored you and just thank you for the job that you're doing in our school system. Okay. You're the National Superintendent of the Year. You pretty much do what you want to. Yeah. Okay. Our second award goes to I'm going to try not to cry. Ten years ago, when my mother came over to Irondale Middle School, and she transferred me to another lady to be my mother. But now my mother is not here, but my play mother is still here. And I'm still trying to figure out why we never have play fathers. But without further ado, I'm going to ask my play mother and the mother that my mom gave to be my mother, Miss Frida Williams, to come to the front. You know I was going to start crying. I can't, yeah, so, all right.
You always my baby.
Our next award, and it's an amazing story. I don't really know her, but I really want to get to know her because I was told that she had, I want to make sure that I get it right, 16 surgeries and she's still here. Don't we serve an amazing God? Who can do exceedingly immeasurably more than we can ever think in our mind. But I'm going to ask Miss Amanda Mullins if she would come, because she has an awesome story. Amanda, I'm going to let you say a few words if you want to. Your story is so amazing.
Okay.
You can encourage somebody else
Okay.
before they hear.
Yeah. So I've had 17 brain surgeries since I was 12. And I want to start by saying that all the glory for my life goes to the Lord. Okay. Whether you're a believer or not, I'm here to testify that He is real and He acts on our behalf, even when it's uncomfortable. But yeah, I have a neurological condition called hydrocephalus, and I've had 17 brain surgeries. But the Lord has equipped me with a heart for the poor, and I love advocating for those who don't have a voice in our community and in our nation. So I appreciate this award. Thank you so much. I did.
Who texted you?
I don't remember her name.
Do I need to fire her?
No,
Was it Emma?
I don't. I was thankful that she.
All right, then. I'm gonna let. If your story is so compelling, that's the only reason she still got a job. Okay. All right, the next Iron Woman is someone I've been knowing all my life. We didn't go to elementary school together, but we did go to what? The best high school in Birmingham. No. Ramsey is second, but A.H. Parker High, Arthur Harrell Parker High School is the best. Angie and I was in the same class. You all may not know this about Angie, but Angie was a track star in high school. I think she ran 100, 200. Did I miss anything, Angie? Okay, get it right. All right. So Angie was hard to keep up with in high school. But like I said, I grew up in East Thomas. She grew up in Fountain Heights. And back in the day, we always made sure you better not get our neighborhoods mixed up. But Angie and I reunited when I got here to Irondale. And I just want to say that she's a great woman, great friend, great classmate. There's Angela Woods. Come on. Oh, see, I even called you by. I'm sorry, Pastor Mike. Miss Angela Woods McClure. He did. I know he did. Okay. Next individual we have, and she is a remarkable woman. She works in our chamber. No, it's not Miss Carolyn. Sherry, it's you. Sherry Berry has been working in our chamber. She's doing a fantastic job. You were nominated by Miss Carolyn for this award. Yes, and how did they get you here?
It was, I think our 2-year friendversary is coming up. And so we met at the Easter egg. We were putting the eggs together. And she said, would you like to, join the chamber and work with us? And I did that for a little while. And next thing you know, I'm the director. And that's been a little bit scary, but it's also been a blessing. And so I've really appreciated getting to know the businesses and the whole community here. Irondale means a lot to me, and I've only been here going on 3 years. Yes. Yeah.
So I remember the first time But met Sherry. Sherry could be a good advertisement for our Citizen Engagement Institute because she became through the institute. And I know one of the things she said to me. She said, "Mayor, I want to work. I want to be involved." And I said, "Are you the lady house that I pass by every day where they tore down the gate and they working on the swimming pool?" She said, "That's me." So yeah. So Sherry, glad to have you. You're doing a fantastic job. I had one of the employees to come over to me and ask me, "Why am I here tonight?" I said, "I don't know why you're here." She said, "You know everything." I said, I know everything, but I still don't know why you're here tonight." And she's been a joy to be able to work with. She's been working in our dispatch office since we split it down the middle. Yesterday, we had a very interesting conversation from the Book of Solomon, and I gave them this example about splitting the baby. But we won't go into all of that. But she's a. I've learned to be able to teach around here now, and they know it. That every time they come to me with a problem, I take the word of God, and I give them the word, and I say, "Now you make the decision. I'm not going to make the decision." But we built a culture around here, and she's been here long enough to entertain me. So April, come on out. That's why you're here today. And you were nominated by Sherry. So you need to get on her. This lady right here, I think she works for the city of Irondale. I mean, every event that we have, she's always here. She retired a couple of years ago, went through Citizen Engagement Institute, and I can truly say she's at more events than I'm at. I think we know who we're talking about, Miss Lewis. So if you come on down. Lewis, how did they trick you to get you here?
Gonna be a part of the board, a presentation.
Okay.
I wasn't sure I would get one or stand in there, but I feel like Carol Johnson something to do.
Oh, okay. No, she did not. Uh-huh. So you give me $10, I tell you.
Joined, he said I'm volunteering for everything, and this is through the citizen engagement. I enjoyed it so much, and then I told him, I said, I want to volunteer, and I have been volunteering.
She has.
And I really love it. Thank you.
Lord, thank you, Ms. Lewis. The next person, I've been knowing her for a while. I guess one of the things I really remember about her, she's always here at 7 o'clock whenever the city got an election. Right, Joyce? Okay. Well, come on up. We got this award for you. How did Nate get you here? He lied too. Well, all these folks in the ministry just lying up a storm.
I like that look on her face.
You know, they always say, you save the best for last. This lady is remarkable. She's a cornerstone in the city of Irondale. If I could just have her energy. Sue, do you mind if I tell everybody how old you are? It's 93. She's 93 years old. She still drive. She still live by herself. Matter of fact, she runs the program in the Exchange Club that whenever new people come into the community, guess who's the welcome wagon? Well, we had to use Miss Therese to trick you to get you here. But I thought you probably would know what was going on because you got so many people that are here. If you're a part of the Sue Miles clan, raise your hand or stand to your feet. So, you were nominated by your very good friend from McElwain. You want to take a guess who it is? Who else go to McElwain? Who went to McElwain with you? I mean, they're here today. Pete. You were nominated by Pete Cry. Pete used to serve on the city council at the city of Irondale. He was blowing up my phone last week to make sure that he got your nomination in. All of this is you're here because of Pete Cry. I want you all to give Pete a hand because Pete served this city well during his time of being a city councilor. And I saved you for last because I felt that you deserve a little extra honor because you served on the city council as well. And I just admire you and adore you. And I hope when I grow up, I can be like you. So we got to do this. Emma gonna take a picture with me and Sue. Then I wanted Pete to come up and take a picture. And then we're gonna have the whole clan to come up to cap this wonderful night off. No. Yes, you can do what you want to do. And it's not under the 2-minute rule, so you take it long.
Well, I'm not. I'm gonna brag on you a little bit. So I do want to tell you, he is a good man. He came to my birthday party when I turned 91. Start to say 21. 91. And we had the best time. That at that time they had not paved my road. It had not been paved in 53 years. So he came and we were playing a game and he won $4. And he looked at me and he said, I'm fixing your road with this $4. And that's what he did. And you did it. I've got the best road in Irondale. And I have to tell you, my husband and I moved here in 1994, and we moved to Irondale. And I have felt so welcome the first time I set foot in this city. And I think that we have grown to love each one of you, every bit of you that we got to meet and know. And it's the best place in the world to live. I can tell you that.
Thank you. Pete, I'm gonna let you say.
She's fantastic. She's like the energetic buddy or whatever it is. Ever ready. I wish I had her energy.
Me too, Pete. We're working on it. All right, Emma, we get a little photos in. Family, you all want to come up and get a picture?
Wait till you see how many of them.
Hold on, we got two more. Stand back. Ms. Ruth, come on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, you're not Ron. I need you. So, you got to get in front of me.
No.
There you go.
Give me just a little bit on this end.
Oh, Teresa.
Teresa.
All right, everybody looking this way. Ready?
Congratulations. If Cheryl sees he'll see you around.
That's good. That's.
Twice in one day.
Air conditioner. Planning of it. See, plus thing is when I start to get stressed and I get cold, my fingers do that thing where they turn white. I've got that disease, you know, like where you never seen a disease where like people's fingers turn white? Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was done too.
New game. I had the mic. I had the mic for the mayor.
Men don't do it.
We thought you was done. We was passing it.
I'm sorry. This was from
Wait,
last week.
four.
Like Columbo.
I have okay. I got one more. I got two more. This is our last week when we did our last council meeting when we did our community champion award. And Miss Nikki Guin was not able to be with us. She was a little bit under the weather, but we still wanted to present her with this award. So Nikki, if you would come on down. Nikki has started serving, and everywhere I go, I see you. Civic Center, Senior Activities Center, the Pavilion, you name it. Nikki's involved, and I just love your enthusiasm. I'm glad that you're participating and being a part of the city of Irondale, and we just wanted to recognize you to let you know that your work that you've done has not gone unnoticed. Okay. Right. And my last award goes to, it's not really an award. I've only given away maybe a couple of keys to the city, third, since I've been the mayor. And to be able to get the key to the city, you've had to be able to do something that is outstanding, that is remarkable, and you've been recognized at one of the highest levels that you could be receive something from your profession. Our county was blessed a couple of weeks ago for our superintendent of Jefferson County Schools, Dr. Walter Gonsolin, and I call him Dr. G, but he was awarded the National Superintendent of the Year, and he was also, Miss Terry Sewell recognized him on the floor of Congress. It gives me great joy to be able to present this award to a man that's not only my friend, but has done some exceptional things when it comes to education. And when people want to know what's going on in the county schools, well, I have the person here for you to talk to. So if you want to complain about test scores, don't complain to me because I'm the mayor of the city of Irondale. I don't run Jefferson County Schools. But without further ado, I'm going to allow Mr. Dr. Walter Gonsolin I'm going to present you with the key to the city. And if you don't mind saying a few.
Thank you, Mayor Stu. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And thank you to the city council members for presenting me with this award, the key to the city. What does it open? Oh, okay, well, all right. I was told that. I got you. But y'all, it is really an honor and a privilege to be able to be to first compete for the National Superintendent of the Year. And then to represent Jefferson County, Alabama, the greater Birmingham area. And this journey, if you don't mind.
You go ahead.
All right. This journey started back in September when the other superintendents, the other 13 superintendents in this area, decided that they wanted to nominate me as the area superintendent of the year. And so that's the Hoover City Schools, Vestavia, Homewood, Shelby County, Fairfield, Tarrant, Midfield, all of those superintendents nominated me as District 5 Superintendent of the Year. And then it was a great honor. And that allowed me to go and compete for the State Superintendent of the Year. So I had to compete against 8 other people. We went to Montgomery, we interviewed, and then I came out victorious. And I remember standing up, waiting to go into the room to interview for the State Superintendent of the Year. And a group of superintendents, they gathered around and they wanted to know what would it take to get a national superintendent from Alabama, because we had never had one. And they were wondering, they were saying, who do we have that can compete with the rest of the country? And so I'm standing there, I'm about to go interview, and I'm like, they're asking me a question, and I'm like, what? Nobody's considering me, right? You're talking to him. But anyway, when I was, I went in and I competed at the state level, and I won that one as well. And I remember some of those same superintendents coming to me and asking, man, do you really think that you can compete and come out #1 at the national? That's surprising to me, right? That someone would even ask that question, right? Because I promise y'all, I've never gotten in any race hoping to come out second. It never happens, right? And so I said, well, we'll see. And but I had every confidence because I know the work that we do. So then we had to fill out this application. It was very intense. And all 49 of us competed. We have 50 states, but Hawaii doesn't compete. So all 49 of us competed, and it was going to do a final four. And I got the call a month later and said, you're one of the 4 finalists. So now you have to go to Virginia, and you got to compete against the other 3 for 3 days, right? I said, well, here we go. This has been a race here. So I go to Virginia. And before I went to Virginia, our team had done our research. We had done our research on the other 3 candidates, and we had done our research on the whole process. And so when talking to previous Final Four finalists, one gentleman from Georgia told me, he said, Doc, you have to know that all 3 days you're there, the whole 3 days, it's an interview. All 3 days, competition. Do not let your guards down. He said the first night, they're going to give a dinner, and they're going to put you at a table intentionally with certain groups of people. They're going to try to give you some wine and whatever. Get you loose, right? And he said, but always remember, everything is an interview. And I said, okay, all right, thank you for that. And I went with that spirit, right? And sure enough, they put me at a table with a bunch of Northerners. I don't have anything against Northern. I don't have anything against Northern. I was the only one from the South, yeah. And so we're sitting there, and they ask you your name and want to know if you have children, see pictures and things. And then one of them asked, how long you been in education? And I said, there it goes. That's an interview question, right? And about 45 minutes into it, a gentleman from Iowa asked me, he said, Alabama is not known for its academic excellence. Can you believe that? That was bold. And he said, so what makes you think that you could be the voice and the face of public education for the nation? And so I looked across the table. What they didn't know was I was waiting for that one, right? There was a reason why we hadn't had a winner. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, something's wrong here. There's a mindset against Alabama. And so I looked across the table and I asked him, and please y'all just entertain this for a minute. I asked him, I said, are you a rap music connoisseur? And he said, what? What is that? And I said, do you like rap music? And he said, no, not really. I said, I didn't think so, right? That was a joke, guys. Thank you. All right, we'll make sure y'all listening. And I said, well, would you mind me entertaining you with a brief story? And he said, no, I don't. And I told him about in the early 1990s, Pastor, that there was this big debate on which coast produced the best rappers. Was it the East Coast or the West Coast, right? And I told him it played out in the music, it played out in the streets, but then they were gonna wait till for the Grammys to decide who would win. Who would be the best, who produced the best, East Coast or West Coast? So during the Grammys, a group by the name of Outkast performed, and they electrified the place. And in the end, when the Grammy was announced, it wasn't a rapper from the East Coast, it wasn't a rapper from the West Coast, it was from the South. It was from Atlanta, Georgia, that group. And when the recipient came up to get their award, he spoke, and he said, I just got one thing to tell you. The South has something to say. And so I said, in regards to education, I have one thing to tell you. Alabama has something to say. And I'm going to say it over and over again for the next 3 days. And guys, the next day was the interview. And I wish you could have been there, because I went in a room with 5 other people and just myself to go and interview with them. I brought the biggest mobile cart you could find. I had portfolios so high, right? I stumbled up in there looking like the nutty professor, right? Because I had something to say. And when it was over, the other 3 competitors, they said, hey, how did you know to bring all of that? Because they didn't have anything. Who told you you could take that into there? I said, no one. And they said, so what made you do it? And I said, well, I read the rules. And when I read the rules, there were no guidelines on it. They didn't say you could bring it one way or the other. And so I told them, in the absence of rules and guidelines, leaders create them. That's what leaders do. Are y'all understanding? See, I didn't go over there to come out second. I didn't. I went there to come out first. Because there were a lot of people riding on it. There were people from my hometown. There were people from Jefferson County Schools. There were people from Alabama. And after I had won, the next night, they gave a celebration. They gave a celebration. And the lady asked me to give the same story I just told y'all. And I asked her why. She said, because you actually won that night. She said the 5 judges after that dinner said, hey, that's our winner. And she said, and it really helped when a big large packet from FedEx showed up with all those portfolios, and everybody was wondering, who is this for, right? And then you stumbled in there the next day, right? And she said it was confirmed. And one of the questions that was asked at the press club with all the reporters, what do you think allowed you to be different? Or, they asked each one of them. And the first thing I told them was, I talked to them about how many mayors we served in Alabama, in Jefferson County Schools. We served 22 different mayors and city council members, right? And I have to tell y'all that each one of them, they're very special. People ask me, say, how do y'all serve 22 mayors and city council members? I said, one at a time. But I have to tell you that when I could speak on the fact of Mayor Stewart, your leadership, your city council, and how you support the schools, not only through money, which is very important, and we appreciate that, but also supporting the schools with their presence. They're in the schools, they're asking about the schools. And if I need something as a superintendent, we have each other's cell phone numbers. And I could pick up the phone and say, hey, Mayor, this is the situation. We have a safety issue, and we need this, this, and this. And he would say, anything that you need to support the schools, would you come in and let's talk about it? You see, and whenever you have that type of partnership and collaboration, it's a recipe for success. It allows the magic to happen. And the last thing I would say that separated us from everybody else is that while other people were talking about numbers, like graduation rate, CCR completion, we were talking about people. I told them the story of this young Hispanic girl from Fulton High School that graduated with a credential in construction and design. And before she graduated, we had this signing day, just like they do with the athletes. And when she signed a contract with one of the local construction groups, making $72,000 a year. Because not only did she have a credential, she was bilingual. And her father came up to me at the end and he said, when we came to this country 7, 8 years ago, I was sure that the language barrier would be our greatest liability. But when partnering with you guys, you made it our greatest asset. I talked to them about children graduating from high school. And 2 weeks before their high school graduation, they graduate from Jeff State with an associate's degree, or Lawson Community College with an associate's degree. 2 weeks before they graduate from high school, they walk across that stage with no debt to that child. Those are the types of things that we're doing that the nation wants to hear about. And they're asking the question, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? So again, as I close, I would say that it is an honor to represent Alabama as the National Superintendent of the Year. And I was able to go back to those superintendents who wondered, what would it take? I was able to go back to him and say, when would you like to sit down and talk so I could tell you what it would take? All right. Thank y'all very much, guys.
Council President, that concludes my report.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. It's a good one, but you might have set a record on that one.
Okay.
I'm just going to give everybody a moment to file out that chooses to exit at this time. All right, looks like the room is settled. We'll go ahead and get into the rest of the agenda. Thank you for your report, Mayor. Council members, time for any standing committee or special committee reports. Councilman Lennon, I'll start with you.
Yes, not to hold up any longer, just a couple of things, Jefferson Christian Academy, Dr. Greg DeJarnett, he's the head of school over there. They're having a annual day of giving. I told them I would announce this. They're having an annual day of giving. I have the flyers, and I'll put them in the back. I'll leave them here. You can grab one on the first Sunday in April. And this flyer test and everything. It's also got a code here that you can scan the code and everything. But I told them I would announce this tonight. But it's on the first Sunday in April. Dr. Greg DeJarnett is a friend of mine. We played ball against each other a long time ago. He went to Montevallo. I was Birmingham Southern. I reminded him, though, when I talked to him, that I never lost to him. So he knows that. So, but great guy, running the new program. Running the school at Jefferson Christian Academy. So we want to show our support with him. Also, coming up, get ready. The NCAA women's basketball tournament is coming to Birmingham. It's coming to Birmingham, March the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. And let me just give you a couple of two top teams I think will be in there. Texas will be there. They will bring a great following. South Carolina, this place will be Cardinal, Garnet, or whatever color they are on those 2 days. They will fill up this place. And Irondale, they're gonna need a place to stay. They're gonna need a place to eat. And I'm gonna promise you, you're gonna get some of that. You're gonna get some of that. It's gonna be a great opportunity to showcase City of Irondale. So if you own a restaurant, clean your counters, cut your grass, whatever you have to do, put a big sign out and say, come on in, we welcome you. So we're excited about Birmingham having an opportunity for that to be happening right here in the city. And I think our hotel's gonna be filled for those, because they have a great following. Notre Dame could be here, they're here locally, Duke could be here. They're part of the Birmingham connection, so it's going to be a lot of local teams that's pretty close. Tennessee, Alabama is in the Birmingham region, so we're excited about that tournament's coming to town. So go down. I'm going to try to go down and watch a few games myself. So just support the great sport of women basketball. I know y'all going to be watching the men, but I promise you the women's is a lot better watch in the Final Four. I promise you that. Right, Mayor?
You're right,
That's
Councilman.
right. So we're excited about that. So go out and support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. One report, one that's a sad note. We had one of our District 3 community members, Susan Hamilton Barnett. I saw this yesterday. Really sad. She's a member of our District 3 community, and she lost her 6-month-old grandbaby. Terrible accident. Definitely unexpected. Young couple that parents of this child, and they've had some really financial setbacks, and they have a GoFundMe set up. If you look on any of the Irondale Community Group forums, you'll find it, the GoFundMe account. I also have it on my District 3 account. They really need help, so anything that you can do to help this terrible accident, they need help, please do so. Please be generous. And if you don't have the funds, please keep them in your prayers. that the Lord may be their strength of consolation during this time. The second items that I wanted to ask about, and it's just merely a means of getting some clarity. Council President Spivey, are you calling a finance committee meeting? Are we having one?
Well, I mean, I know we
I was
touched
just a
on it
little
lightly, but we can't
confused.
seem to agree on a date. I know that it's time to have one based on our prior conversations.
Okay, do we need to check our calendars to see when we could hold this?
Well, I mean, I know that Mayor's already mentioned some, I would prefer to get with Mayor on his schedule and the city clerk with her schedule before we get into a group conversation that might
That-
not align.
All right, I just want to make sure that the council members are aware and we can check our calendars and have a date set up.
I understand.
And then the same thing with the Parks Committee. I think that's you, Councilman London. Are you having a Parks Committee meeting to discuss the parks?
I am not. Mayor's got a meeting.
Yeah,
We're
look-
meeting on April the what?
Let me give clarity to this.
Okay, please
This is
do.
the mayor's meeting, so I don't need to have a discussion with any
Okay, I
committee.
just want to make sure we
Well,
have that distinction.
Okay, well, yeah, this is the mayor's meeting, so this is not council president meeting from the finance, it's not Councilman London, but this is the mayor's meeting. So,
Okay, just want to make sure that we have that, because I know that we're having a mid-year review. And I just wanted to have that clarity so I'd know when we're going to be having that one.
Absolutely.
That concludes my report. Thank you so much for giving me that clarity, Mayor Stewart and Councilman London and President Spivey.
Thank you. Councilman Box.
Thanks, Council President. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We, looks like we've had a wonderful night, a lot of fun, a lot of joy, but, we need to get on down to our business, so I'm gonna pass it on to you rather than trying to go into any preliminaries of anything.
Councilman Sims.
Welcome, everybody. Congrats to everyone that was recognized earlier. I'll echo the ranch house. I don't eat veggies, so I don't know anything about any of those. I've heard they're good, but their meat that I've had so far, good stuff. Excellent fried catfish. I'll be trying some more later. Reminder, spring break, if you're in Jefferson County, if your kids are in Jefferson County next week, so travel safe, travel back safe, have fun. And if you're driving through your neighborhoods, be aware there might be a lot more kids than normal in the middle of the day. So slow down. And that is all I got.
Very nice. A lot of good things tonight, a lot of stuff to echo. Not going to belabor it, but I just appreciate your presence tonight and just look forward to conducting some business. All right, that being said, we'll go ahead and move on to any public comments on non-agenda items. If you're not accustomed to this meeting, if you have a piece of paper with stuff printed on it, this is not that time. So any comments on non-agenda items, please come forward.
I'm Mary Scher at 5276 Amber Hills Road. Just a couple of quick comments. One, you may have seen some comments I had on the trailer park that is zoned for where the National Tree Service is. And I think that the residents that have problems with the trees being dumped there about a year ago came here and talked to the council. And I think that the council tried to do some things to help clear up that them dumping trees. So I think that my concern is, first off, we didn't know it was zoned as a trailer park, but it was a dump. Either way. But I think that as our city employees go and our people go and find that something is operating that's not in congruence with the way that it's zoned, sometimes they make comments or they try to encourage the business to make a change. So it probably should have been realigned. It wasn't. It's going to be, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Tomorrow's the auction. Secondly, I have still not had a FOIA request completed. I submitted it. It was acknowledged on January the 2nd. The Alabama code, there was a new code written in it's Act 2024-278. And I think the council needs to devise an ordinance to give people understanding of how long they have to answer based on that code. If it's a simple request, it's only 15 days. If it's longer, I mean, if it's a more complex request, it's a bit longer. So if we could get someone to write that ordinance for the city. I know I've been working with Marcy. We've talked, well, we've talked once, we've passed messages back and forth, but I still don't have the documents that I requested. And it's been 75 days. So, would like to hear that. And I don't know if it's really Marcy or if it's you, Lee. Are you? Yeah, she's been talking to me, but if, I don't know who she would.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Bavona, 1296 Shades Terrace. Council, would you double the size of your home without knowing its impact on your budget? Well, you did just that for the new library. Facts from the construction drawings are reviewed. Library size, 16,345 square feet, more than double the existing library, meaning utilities will double, janitorial will double, insurance will double, HVAC maintenance, Wi-Fi, security, all will be more, plus added new staff salaries. Landscaping maintenance, drawings show 71 trees and 5,400 shrubs, and sod and seeding at 62,000 square feet, a huge annual maintenance contract for landscaping cost. The extensive sprinkler system, over 2,000 linear feet of sprinkler piping, and a weekly watering schedule per contract. Do you know if it's 20,000 gallons per week, 30 gallons? No, the contract states 69,000 gallons per week. See your handout. It's on drawing L3.03. Now, whether the city bills itself or not is the taxpayer who pays for this water treatment for this huge quantity, 60,000 gallons per week. That's like filling up an Olympic-sized swimming pool every 2 months. The Civic Center O&M is next, all adding to a growing city debt passed on to taxpayers. And I might add, I'm going to change to a quick water comment. If anyone needs assistance with ATEM sites showing lead in the tap water from sampled homes, go through my counselor Cuellar and she'll contact me.
Sandy Loriello, 5732 Bell Ridge Trail. Jared promised to update the Waterworks website, nothing. And when she was talking about FOIA, me and Marcy are pen pals now. She says she's going to talk to the web developer. There's got to be a specific order in how you get information. And every time I send something, it's something else, and this has been going on for quite a while. So if somebody could look into it, it'd be nice.
Point of order, Council President. Just want to ask, are there plans to update this information on the water site?
That is
I
beyond my
know that
purview.
that was mentioned at our water committee meeting.
We can't tell an employee to do a thing that's
No,
beyond
I'm
my
just
purview.
asking, are there plans?
I have no idea. It's not my purview.
Okay. Do we know, Mayor
It's
Stewart,
not
if
my
there are
purview
plans?
from the audience. Thank you very much. As a former council person, could you tell a city employee to do something? Oh, well, I'm sorry. I heard a comment that was directed towards me, so I figured I would just respond. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Do
All right.
we know, Mayor Stewart, if there?
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it, Mayor.
Do we have any other comments on non-agenda items? Thank you.
I'd like to hand these out.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chubba Bedlick, 5725 Belmont Drive. And a quick summary, because I know I have a short time. As I do every Sunday, I went for a walk. It was a beautiful day on Sunday. I've been doing that for years. And I carry a big stick, just in case. So as I made the turn in my Irondale neighborhood, here come two dogs who locked eyes with me. They were unleashed. One was a Great Dane and one was a pit bull. And I said, I'm in trouble because I have one stick and here come two dogs. So I was more concerned about the pit bull because I read that they lock onto you and they don't let go. So I was scared, even with the stick. So rather than face the Great Dane, I hit the pit bull in the nose. This is a big stick. He stopped for a moment and he kept on coming. I'm talking about a massive pit bull. And so I took my stick and I backed up. I started backing up and I lost my balance. And I fell on the pavement and the right shoulder took the impact. The only thought in my mind, my body goes into a state of shock. The only thought in my mind, I've got to do something to keep that pit bull getting in my arm or any appendage and locking on because they don't let go. So I started rolling on the pavement, rolling, rolling, rolling. And that saved me because the owner finally came out, unleashed, both dogs unleashed. He came out, grabbed the pit bull, and two Good Samaritan ladies who were the neighbors of this gentleman, they grabbed me, said, come on up to the porch, get away from the animals. They called the fire department, the EMPs, and the police officer. They came out, I gave my testimony and to both of them. And I said to myself, and incidentally, there are ordinances, as you well know, in Irondale, dogs must be on a leash. You know, if they can't be roaming around by themselves. Especially, we have, and I outlined that in my, what I gave you, what ordinance that is. And also there's an ordinance against dangerous dogs, which I consider to be a pit bull, certainly. And so I thought to myself, as I try to gather my wits, what if that was a 10-year-old child walking down there, or a mother with a stroller, or an elderly woman? What would that pit bull and the Great Dane, but I was more concerned with the pit bull, have done? Those children or woman with a stroller would have been badly injured and perhaps killed, all because someone was negligent keeping these dogs on a leash. So I had to go down to the doctor. He took an x-ray. He said, I want you to get an MRI. I got an MRI. Came back yesterday, the results were, I have a fractured, not completely broken, thanks be to God, fractured shoulder bone and a 75% torn ligament. So he says, the good news is I don't have to do surgery. That's the good news. The bad news is you need 3 months of therapy. So I started therapy yesterday, St. Vincent's. I named the doctor at St. Vincent's, Dr. Edward Kissel. And so I started my therapy yesterday. And
Sir,
hopefully-
I do have to be
Yes,
fair. I gave you an additional 2 minutes,
Thank
and,
you,
your
sir.
story is gripping. And I think the point of the matter is that we have ordinances on the books about these vicious dogs. But one thing I want to definitely get to and launch off, if you'll allow me, is the ordinance that says that, you know, the protection against the vicious dogs. I'm thankful that you made a report on it, because the only way a dog can be deemed vicious is if it's reported. And that sets the whole process in place of addressing that. So I'm thankful that you weren't permanently severe, and you're still with us, and your survival instincts kicked in. I'm thankful that you're okay, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Council
Mr.
President Spivey, I just have a couple of questions looking at these ordinances, and ordinance committee chair, I'm familiar with them. The ordinance do require that there be a fine? Do we know if there was a fine to the owner that had these dogs that were loose? This is very concerning to me. Do we know if there was a fine? And
I would have to
secondly,
direct that towards the chief of police.
all right, and then secondly is, my understanding is that that dog needs to be picked up.
Now that it has been reported as a vicious animal, the process can begin. Had
Okay.
it not been reported, it would have been difficult to do so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Donna Pike and I live 440 East Ventura Drive. And I realize that we are across the water over there. And I'm sure that since we're not in the heart of Irondale, maybe we're not seen as much as over here. But we have a car lot / mechanic / junkyard / eyesore / taking up the turning lane. If you want to get in the turning lane and go down into our community, we can't because there are cars there and it's very dark, and I almost hit one night, at which time I did call the police. Now they have spread out into the right of way. Beautiful grassy area is now covered in car bumpers and wrecked cars and you name it, and it's there. And now it's time to have somebody come and look at it. And I don't have the address because I don't have enough life insurance to go up there and get it. But it's right on Highway 11 and East Forest Drive. Can't miss it.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Do I not get one?
Save it for the microphone.
Okay. Kimberly Miles Stewart, 4030 Nicole Drive. Council President Spivey, this is a non-agenda item, but something we'll touch on an agenda item, but it's not about that agenda item. It's to address a post by Councilor Cuellar. Councilor Cuellar acts like a Facebook bully and doesn't tell the truth. She turned off all comments on the D3 page to post whatever she wants and blocks people from correcting her. She's been warned that she could not delete the comments she didn't like and keep the ones she favored. She chose to disallow all comments to be able to tell citizens what to think instead of allowing them to think for themselves. After the last council meeting where she was exposed for, without permission, recording me and my children to campaign claim, I was hindered from doing my job because they sit in the front row, laugh, frown, and whisper to intimidate me. That's very kindergarten. At the same meeting, you repeated 6 times, "It's not on." You denied that, but the recorder was indeed on, as it shows on those pictures. Honesty, integrity, those are your favorite words. You then posted a fictional piece on Facebook about this to deceive. Let me be crystal clear. I do not come to this council meeting to stare at you all night. You couldn't pay me $1 million to do that. Let us use adult words like "I see" her expressions instead of making faces that only you seem to see. Be honest. When you ask ridiculous and obvious questions to appear smarter than everyone on the dais, everyone, the majority of this room, laughs and sighs. They mumble disapproval and shake their heads when you disrespect and say horrible statements. You figured singling us out would make a better story when you know the whole room erupts. Making faces to intimidate you for items.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Okay, I'll continue it in the agenda item section.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? With no more comments on non-agenda items, we'll go ahead and get into the deliberation. We have 5 items on a proposed consent agenda, so we'll go ahead and we'll run through them. Resolve that Resolution 2025 R48 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute an inmate housing agreement with the city of Trustful. Chief, if you'd be so kind.
Any questions?
Councilman Lennon, any questions for Chief?
No, just a renewal, right?
It's renewal, yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, I do have some questions, Chief Wiggins, if I can hold on to this. Okay, on pages 1 and 2 of the agreement, on the bottom of page 1, number 5, as well as going on to the next page and number 6, can you share, sir, what is the normal practice when we have these non-emergency? Does our police department take that to avoid that $55 an hour
Typically, we will take
charge?
someone to be treated before they're taken to jail to be processed. So if we have an inmate that's been injured or something, we'll take them to be treated either by our fire department. If we have to go to the emergency room, we'll have them treated before we go there.
Okay, so we do what we can to avoid that
Yes.
$55 an hour fee?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Those are my questions. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
No questions. It seems to be working pretty good for us for the past couple of years,
Yes,
but
sir.
rather than trying to spend the money to house our
Right.
own inmates. So.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Thank you, sir. Do we agree to keep item 1 on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 2, resolve that resolution 2025 R49 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a lease amendment with Grants Mill Station LLC for a police substation, detective unit, and related uses for the city.
Yes.
If-
Any
would you like-
questions?
Any questions, Councilman London?
No changes, right?
Yeah, well, they did go up a little bit on our rent.
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Council Cuellar. I'm trying.
And
Okay.
actually, should have a new one. It's 904. This is reduced.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for Chief?
Yes, we're,
Go ahead.
Councilman Lennon?
I'm
Okay,
good.
all right. So, looking at page 1 of the contract, we're going from a 123A, 123B, that's being merged. And so we now
It's a
have,
single unit. Basically, it's a single
Right.
unit, and we divided that with the water department years ago. So they split the lease back then, but it's a single
Right.
unit. So what they're doing is basically putting it back to a single unit.
very good. So, going on, I looked at the agreements that we had back in January of '24, as well as the 22nd of June. And the most recent one was January of '24. And the increase is really significant because when you total the leases for both units, the 123A and B, that comes out to $2,964 per month or $35,568 a year. But this monthly rent for this one unit that's merged is now going to be $32,976. Is that a typo?
Oh, it's gotta be, it's $3,200 a month.
Okay, because what we have is 32,976,
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
should be a
like,
month.
all right, so it's 32. Can you give it to me? 32,97.60. Is that what it is?
I'm looking for the,
Okay, thank you.
I actually spoke with the management.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for the correction, but the original increase was $916
Yeah.
a square foot, and I think they reduced that to $908 for the first year.
Okay, so that 916 becomes 908.
Yes, ma'am. I was looking for the
Okay,
changes in the contract.
and so what is our monthly minimum rate rent now?
Well, it'd be $908 per square foot.
27, 48, something like that.
Okay. All right, and so then the 34,308 per month in the next year, and then 35,676 the following
Yeah,
year.
that should be, that's gotta be a typo, because it's per
It's-
square foot.
So it was throwing me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's $395,000 a year.
Yeah.
Versus
those numbers are not
35,000.
correct. Yeah, those numbers are not correct on the monthly. Should be
Can-
around $3,300 a month.
All right, so what I want to make sure of is that we get these correct
Yeah, we'll get 'em
amounts.
correct.
Very good. If you can please send that to us, I'd appreciate that very much. And then section 4, item number 4 on page 2, are we planning to make renovations? Because it talks about renovations.
We haven't done any renovations since we took over the whole space for the police department.
Okay, are we planning to make some?
ma'am.
No?
No.
Okay, and then on number 5, do we have estimates on the cost for signage?
We're not doing any signage.
You're not
Basically,
doing
no, we're
signage
not doing any kind
either?
of signage. The only thing we'll do is the window decals. The only thing that we will do
Okay?
if
And-
we make any changes.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you,
Okay.
Chief.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
Yeah, hey, Chief, I understand that part of it's gonna be detectives, but what will be the complete usage now for this substation?
It's still, nothing's changed as far as the usage. It's still investigation. We have the training room. Fire department sometimes uses it. I know the city, sometimes the city uses it for different events. That's where, we've had different events there for the city. So it's just gonna be open to city events as well as police training room.
Okay, very well. But
Nothing's really changed as far as the use.
Will it be open 24/7? So if our officers need to,
Yeah, our officers have access to it to go do a report and to go to eat and to use the restroom.
instead of having to sit in their car to do
Right.
a report, they could
They-
actually.
They have access to it 24. It's the same, nothing's changed with the use.
Very good, sir. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Councilman
No
Sims?
questions.
Thank
you.
And all my questions have been
thank you.
answered previously. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
And can we make that notation when we make the consent move that we're going to change those amounts? Thank you.
Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2025 R50 authorizes the donation of $2,250 to Shades Valley High School for the purchase of 24 tons of crushed brick to be used on Shades Valley High School softball field. Mayor Stewart?
When the softball team came out to opening day on March the 1st, I had a conversation with the coach. Was it anything that we could do to help them facilitate their games? I shared with them, of course, they could use our wonderful facility if that's what they wanted to do. But they stated to me they needed some, and this was new to me, crushed brick, 24 tons. I sent our marvelous Public Works Department up there, Frank and Boo. They went up there, looked at it, determined this what the need is. And this is allowing me to be able to put a resolution forward to be able to provide them with the dirt so that they can basically redo their infill. Right now, when it rains, it's mud, water sits there for days, and it just need a little TLC.
Councilman Lennon, any questions? Councilwoman McQuarrie?
2 questions. Is this budgeted?
Yes,
And what's our source of funding?
education.
Very good. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Box?
No, I think it's a wonderful idea. We just had the superintendent, that is the national superintendent, coming in here thanking us for the work we're doing to open our school.
Councilman Sims?
I'm also learning, Mr. Mayor, that crushed brick is used on infills today. I never played baseball growing up, but yeah, all for it. Thanks.
I also learned something when I read the documentation. I had no idea that crushed brick was used, so it's an educational moment. Do we agree to keep this item on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 4, resolve that resolution 2025 R51 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to purchase firefighter fitness training equipment from Fire Sled Fitness and Training, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $44,364. Chief McDaniel, would you like to introduce this item?
Thank you. This is just some equipment that we can use to do fit testing with the firefighters, just to do an annual test to ensure that they're able to perform the job-related task and just ensure the fitness of our employees and to be able to train with that specific equipment that's related just to firefighting.
Councilman Lennon, any questions for the gentleman?
Going through the fire academy, I got it.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for
Yeah,
Chief?
a few questions. Thank you, Chief McDaniel. I think this is wonderful, really good for our firefighters. I do have a few questions. Looking at their letter that they sent to you, it does state that there are no other vendors, no other system that provides this. They're the only game that's available. Are there any other fire departments that are currently using what they provide? Do we know if there are any other firefighting departments?
There are a couple. I had our training officer and our one of our lieutenants is doing the physical fitness. I don't have that with me. I could get that information, but there are some others that we checked with beforehand to make sure that it was, good equipment and that it was holding up and they were happy with it.
Great. If you could send that to all of us, I'd appreciate it very much. And then the two other questions, which we all need to ask, is this budgeted?
So what I'm requesting is I had some just a little bit more, 45,000 in the capital budget this year for some other equipment. I would like to be able to swap that out so that we could use those funds to purchase this out of capital, and we wouldn't be adding any money to the budget.
Okay. And one last one. I've never seen the design, the council, we've never been provided with the designs for our fire station. Can you provide us with the designs so we know where is this going? This equipment?
So this equipment here for where we're at right now, our administrative building and training classroom is up at the DABS location in that building. We moved up there a little while back, and so we have a building within there right now that we're gonna put it in there and use it until. But it's designed; it can go in any fire station bay and then be moved to the side. It's designed to be friendly to be put anywhere, but it can be moved around. But so when we get it though, it's going to initially go up to the admin location where the training officer is and be in a building there secured.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all my questions.
Councilman Box?
Oh, no, I think that's great. I guess the question would be unrelated. Hopefully, all of our guys would be able to be able to handle this. We have remedial programs if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just like any other. What we're going to do, just they'll go through it, see where they're at, and then we'll work to get them. But I don't think we're going to have any problems with anybody passing.
Sounds good, Chief. Thank you.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
No questions. Trade 95, right?
Yep. Thank y'all.
Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 5, resolve that resolution 2025 R52 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to accept an interior design services proposal from Jill Hicks Design LLC in an amount not to exceed $5,000 for interior design work at Irondale Fire Station number 3. Mayor Stewart.
It's time to build the building and it's time to be able to put furniture in there. And we wanted to make sure that we had a professional to be able to lead us on this journey. Jill is the same one that provided this service for the library, which means that we'll have some consistency in making sure that we got designs that are flowing throughout the entire city of Irondale. I think that's all I have, unless you all have any questions about it.
Councilman London?
Budget?
Yes, general fund, and it would be, general fund.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Just one question. You took care of two, Mayor Stewart.
Okay.
It talks about a furniture budget on the page 1 of her proposal. What is our furniture budget? Do we know what our furniture budget is?
We haven't created the budget because we don't know exactly what pieces are going to go on the fire station. This $5,000 is to allow her to come on and to be able to provide that exploratory service to identify what items need to go into the fire station, and based on the need, we will develop the budget from that point.
Very good, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
I guess that's the benefit of having two go before you. I'm good.
Councilman Sims?
I have no questions.
And myself, no questions. We agree to leave this item on consent?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. All right, on to the regular agenda. Resolve that resolution 2025 R-53 appoints blank as a director of the Commercial Development Authority for the City of Irondale for the term ending in March 15 of 2029. I know we have someone with us to join us. This has your name by it. I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to say before we call this gentleman up.
No.
Okay.
Other than he's a very fine gentleman. He and I meet on a regular basis at Publix. That's our running joke, which I believe that if I can meet somebody at Publix twice a week, that qualifies them to sit on CDA.
Fair enough. Mr. Barkley, would you join us up here? So we'd love to hear is maybe why you wanted to pursue this, maybe what your vision is for the CDA, and then we might ask you some follow-up questions.
All right. Let's see. I would appreciate your vote in my consideration for the open position with the Irondale CDA. I see great things happening with this city and hope to be able to volunteer my time to the great team already working on building these opportunities. I have lived here for 19 years and hope to be a part of Irondale's bright economic future.
Okay. Councilman London, any questions for the gentleman?
No, stepping up. That's all I'm saying. You know, we need good people on these committees. We appreciate you and your wife because it's not you, it's going to be her also. You know, and we understand the work that you do with the kids, so that excites me always. But man, thanks for thinking up. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I mean, what am I supposed to say? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, Mr. Barclay, I echo Councilor London's comments. Really appreciate you submitting your resume, interest in serving on the board. Only question I have for you, sir, is what do you believe is the most important need in Irondale that the CDA needs to focus on?
It's kind of twofold. We're working on bringing back business into Irondale, and that's kind of the CDA state written objective, but it's also to support local businesses that are already here. And we don't want to end up like AT&T or let's just say cell phone companies in general that focus on new customers and not their current customers. The CDA is here to help our current businesses as well and work in step with the Chamber of Commerce and other organizations to help them grow their businesses here as well.
All right, now that you've identified that and you've noted this, what are ways that you can help the CDA meet this important need that you've just identified for us?
I've lived here for 19 years and had several businesses and just found out about the CDA this year. I think that they need more outreach, a better website, and more information on how to reach them and how to use the resources that they have at their disposal.
Very good, thank you. Those are my questions.
Councilman Box?
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Mr. Barkley, for volunteering and coming out to help us. Your resume was looked pretty good. Just a quick overview of some of your work paths for maybe the people in the audience that may not know you well.
Working with, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. Working with Main Street USA with several cities in Alabama to implement Main Street USA objectives, which involves passing ordinances and whatnot through city council resolutions to allow for certain types of buildings and businesses and whatnot. So not unfamiliar with working with city council as well as permitting offices to figure out how to get the businesses there.
Very good.
Also working the last 6 years with Birmingham and some other communities outside of Birmingham, but mostly within Birmingham and in Jefferson County, working with the National Community Reinvestment Coalition and their laws, federal laws and whatnot, working with local banks to reinvest in businesses and homes for communities within Birmingham and those.
Thank you so much. That's all my questions, sir.
Councilman Sims?
I will echo Councilor London. Thank you for stepping up to volunteer to serve on the CDA. We got to hang out. I think it was voting last November in the rain, you and your wife, for a little bit, 40-something minutes, waiting to get into the Civic Center. I think you've done some great stuff in your last in your career. I think you bring a lot to the table. I think it'd be good to get some new blood into CDA and just jump in, plug in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering. You already answered my questions why you would want to volunteer for this position and give of your time to serve the city. So I appreciate that. Anybody willing to do that, fantastic. David Ralston's a good friend of mine. He's been on the CDA for a very long time. You've got some big shoes to fill.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. I
Thanks.
appreciate your time. This will need to be introduced appropriately, so I would make a recommendation this stays on the regular agenda. All right. Let's see here. Item number 7, resolve that resolution 2025 R54 establishes decorum and conduct standards for city council meetings. Councilwoman Cuellar, this is your name by it, if you care to introduce it.
Yes, Council President Spivey, thank you so much, and council members of the council, gentlemen. Also, would like to address the members of the public as well. The reason for this resolution was we don't have any policy as far as our decorum and conduct standards for our council meetings, and not having one leaves us with not really having any kind of guide. And so that was one of the reasons that I felt it was a good idea to do this. And when I put forth the draft, I had sent an email to our legal, and she didn't have time to take a look at it. We had a deadline. I sent it on Sunday. She was very busy and did send me an email to let me know on Tuesday that she didn't have time. But I went ahead and put it on so that we could take a look at it. And then afterwards, I followed up with our legal counsel, asked her to look at it because we needed that legal view to make sure that we were not violating any laws or the Constitution, but that everything was in accord with that. Now, she did send her recommendations, which I've given you copies of, and I've also put copies out by the door for the audience. And after conferring with our legal counsel, we have agreed that this is the appropriate resolution to present to you to establish clear standards of conduct and decorum for our council meetings. Well, I want to stress this: while we firmly uphold the principles of the Alabama Open Meetings Act in promoting transparency, it is equally important to maintain a respectful and productive environment for everyone present. Now, this resolution aims to balance the rights of individuals to express themselves with the need to maintain order and ensure that all council members can perform their duties in an efficient manner. Our goal is not to stifle input or dissent, but to create an environment where constructive dialogue can thrive. And I encourage each of you here, you've had copies, I made sure that you got them when you came in, 4 o'clock, 4:15, so that you would have our legal counsel's red line, as well as the resolution that doesn't have the red lines, but does have those recommendations that she made, so that we can strive to support open, orderly, and respectful meetings. Now, there have been some pictures that have been given. I did have a chance to look at it, and that picture that was taken was during the Water Committee meeting that was held at our last council meeting. I was not aware of a resolution that said that you could only video or film from the back. I was not aware of that. I was not told about that until the council meeting. So the photo that you have is not the one that was at the council meeting. When you, Council President Spivey, said there's a resolution, I did not have it on. It was not on. That photo was taken from the corner there during our Water Committee meeting. I had it turned this way, And when I was going to record the council meeting,
Council President, can I
it
have
was
a point
turned
of
this
order?
way.
I think a point of
No,
order
I
is
just
fair.
want to make sure that there's clarity because there's
Councilman
been,
Box called for a point of order explanation, Councilman Box.
My only point of order would be that I understand where you're coming from, Councilman Quiller. You may need to discuss certain things, but we're here to either present this, withdraw this, modify this, or vote on it. And you have made a good explanation of what we need to do, but going back and redressing things that happened at previous meetings, be they council meetings, water committee meetings, or any other meetings, is really not what we're here to do. We're here to move forward and consider this on its own merit, not based on things that have happened in the past.
Council President Spivey, if I may continue, that was not made in the past. It was made today. And I want to make sure that the audience and everyone understands that that photograph that you received was
Can I have a
from
point
the
of order?
water committee meeting, not the council
I'm really
meeting.
looking for how this ties in to what we're discussing
Because
in this
it's going to be
moment.
brought up again during the council agenda items. So I
Well,
want to
we-
make sure that everybody understands that.
In Councilman Box's comments, we're talking about this resolution 2025 R54, not discussing anything outside of that. This is deliberation for this item. Councilman London, you called for point of order.
Well, you said it.
Okay,
I thought
copy.
I was talking about this.
All right, thank you.
And we are talking about the resolution.
Okay.
Okay? And I've explained why I made this proposal. It is common sense. And I would like for you to take a look at it. It's something that we do need to have in place as a policy because we don't have one. And again, there are no legal concerns. The only point that she did make was on number 3 on the back of your resolution. That is a council policy. And that is the one that we will need to discuss and come to a consensus on. Everything else is what she checked from a legal lens, and she made her changes, and they are incorporated in this resolution.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions, I welcome your questions.
Thank you. Councilman London?
Could I say something?
We'll defer to legal first. Yes, ma'am.
Just to make sure that we're all clear, I can't say that this is appropriate. Whenever I look at a document, I look at it from a legal basis only. Whether or not it's appropriate would be a question for all of you.
Thank you. Councilman London?
Thank you.
Yes, I do have, thank you, Council President. I do have a couple of questions. Councilwoman Quaylaw, this is your resolution.
It is.
And have you experienced any of these things? 'Cause I looked at the old one and you had a lot of things on here that kind of.
We're not talking about the old one. We're talking about the revised one.
You experienced these things, and what is the main reason why? First question: what is the main reason why you want to come up with this resolution? Have you experienced some of these things, and is there someone directly that you this attending this for? Because I don't really think we need a policy for that, because I think we've done a good job of controlling what's happening. And people, when I say something, sometimes they don't disagree with me. They may have a or a or turn their head. I don't take that as offensive. I just take that as passion. That's what I take it as. It's passion. And now, if it goes in further, then as a grown man, we'll have a grown-up conversation afterwards if we need to be in, but we don't have to do that in council. Again, I've been on this council a long time, and people have stood there and directly said things that I know there was towards me. And they've done it in the last few council meetings. I don't take that personal. I don't really take that personal because, if that person really had something they want to talk about, they'd come up here and say, hey, Councilman London, would you like to have a conversation? And we'll have that conversation. But when they don't do that, I understand who they are. So I don't really get into that, because many in this seat, when you sit in here, that's going to happen. And I don't think we need a policy for that. If I see it, then I'm going to go to that person personally and say, hey, I noticed you disagree with something that we're saying. Can we talk about that? Then we may find out. We come to an agreement on sometimes it's good to agree to disagree. And I'm okay with that also. So I don't think we really need a policy, because, you know, I've experienced this. And I just want to ask Councilman Quaylaw, have you experienced some of these things that you're talking about? And then we talk about reserved seating. I don't think we ever had any issue with reserving any seats, and I don't think so. Anybody reserving any seating? So I just want to make sure where we're going with this. That's my comment.
All right.
Am I free to respond, or do you want to wait?
You presented. We'll come back for a second round to
Very
give you a
good,
chance to
thank you.
respond. Councilman Box, sir.
Thank you, Councilman.
Absolutely.
I find it difficult that we're even having this. I'm going to steal Pastor McClure's scripture from next week, 1 Peter 2:23. When Jesus was standing in front of people, when he was reviled, he did not revile again. When he was threatened, when he was talked bad about, when he was abused, he didn't abuse back. He trusted to a higher power. All this quibbling and quabbling that we're doing from both sides, quite frankly, it does not produce the blessing of God. And if God's blessing us right now, it's in spite of ourselves, because quite frankly, we're getting on the edge of not deserving it. Now that's a preach moment. So but that ties into this. We don't need a resolution to tell us how to act. The Word of God, if you don't believe in the Word of God, there are other scriptures that will tell you how to act. They're just common human courtesy tells us how to act. So when we don't practice common human courtesy, when we decide to stand up and think that we're more important than we are and forget that we're servants, or when we forget that as citizens we owe some honor and some due respect to the position, just like it says in the movie Band of Brothers, you don't have to respect the man, you respect the position, or the woman, you respect the position. So with that being said, the only thing I see here on this is a reserve seating policy. I'll say that. I don't know that we have a reserve seating policy. I do know that people save seats, and I don't have a problem with that. If you want to save a seat, get here early. Because if the seats you're not, like, I like to sit in a certain seat at church. But if somebody gets there before me and gets that seat and saves that seat, then okay, I should have got there early. So that's what I said. Now, with this said, though, I do believe that the First Lady of the city deserves a seat of her choosing, because she is that position. Maybe not Miss Kim, this is not personally directed, but maybe not Miss Kim personally, but whoever the mayor's wife or husband would deserve that honor. Those are my comments, Council President.
Councilman Sims, what say you?
I had about 4 minutes prepared on the original resolution before I received the new one, right before the meeting started. I was going to talk about how unconstitutional it was, and how it was not about maintaining order. It was not about promoting respect. It was about power, and it's about one member of this council who can't stand public criticism and who was attempting to use the weight of this government body to silence people that they were elected to serve. So I can't talk about any of that now. I've got to switch. Because if you look at the red line version, 90% of what was in the original version has been removed because it was illegal. So I don't get to talk about that either. So instead, we follow Robert's Rules of Order, which pretty much covers everything that the new red line version is trying to do. So I don't know why we have to reinvent the wheel. I don't think there's been an issue. I think the council president has covered any disruptions we may have had. Robert's rules provide sufficient guidance for maintaining decorum. It's all in there. I mean, I don't know. I see this as creating rules where we don't need rules and pointless. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I know when I first saw this resolution, I had many more issues with it. Obviously, a lot of it's been redlined. Some things have been added, subtracted. We've heard from our legal counsel. This is a policy call. This is not anything that needs to be mandated or anything like that per se. My comments align with Councilman London. with Councilman Box, especially around the assigned seating or the not blocking off of seating. Moments like that, we're like, okay, why would someone need to be to save a seat? Well, obviously the comments around mayor's wife, and that's I agree with that, Councilman Box. But we had a lot of people in this room for presentations tonight. Yes, if a father of someone who was being recognized, or a mother of someone who was being recognized, or any variation thereof, was receiving something or being spoken about, and being not necessarily giving a presentation but being presented, I would expect them to save seats for their family members. I kind of chunked that out there. Once again, happy to see legal's spin on this and everything like that. But my comments further align with Councilman Sims of how the majority of this is already in place, and I find it unnecessary. Those will be my comments. I will grant you 2 minutes to respond, Councilwoman Cuellar, now that you've heard all of our opinions.
Yes, thank you, Council President Spivey. First of all, Councilman Sims, you don't know my heart, you don't know my mind, you don't know my motives. Those were not the motives for doing the resolution. That was not it at all. Secondly, Robert's Rules of Order apply to the way that the council holds its meetings, deliberation. That's what Robert's Rules of Order are. Thirdly, when we talk about decorum and conduct, Council Pro Tem London asked, what led you to do this? Are you being? No. Residents have contacted me and said they are very uncomfortable with what's going on in the audience, and we need to have a policy to address this. That's what motivated me, Councilman Sims, not these other things. Fourthly, our meetings are live streamed. We are to promote Irondale and try to bring in commerce into Irondale. And when we have potential investors that are wanting to come into Irondale and they see what is going on our live stream, this hurts Irondale. We need to have a policy in place so that we can really put the best face forward in trying to get investment in the city. This sets a guideline. You talk about reserving the seats. It makes provisions for that. Doesn't deny anyone that's being recognized. They can have the reserved seating. So all of your arguments, everything that you have said here isn't lining up with why we need to have this. I've explained to you, Councilor London, and to everyone why this resolution was brought forth. Residents have been saying we need to do something about these things, are an embarrassment to see this going on. I do want to bring in commerce, but I don't want investors seeing what's going on during our council meetings.
Thank
Those
you.
are my comments.
All right, stop it, dude. God bless. Councilman London, 2 minutes to respond if you choose to.
Yes. Real quick, if anyone in this council meeting gets out of line, I'm real good friends with the chief of police. Very good friends with him, even before he became chief. So I believe his department with the mayor's authority will be able to handle that. That's their job. That's what they do. But when it comes to your comment when hurt the commerce, I think you just had freaking 30 businesses just come to town. 30 last week in the place on 78.
Those aren't businesses.
And we have one across from Ruffin Park that's coming to town.
Yes, and they getting ready to do a second.
And Ranch House is in here. I don't think people watching this council, commerce watching this council, affect them from coming. Because what they see, they see 4 council working their butt off and cooperate with one another and moving this city forward with a new baseball park, with a library, with a fire department, with all the stuff that's happening. They see that, and that's why they're coming to Irondale. I don't think they're watching and say, we're not coming just because of you. No, we're coming because we see the growth in Irondale and we know this is a great place to have our business. You build it, I've said it all of my life. If you take care of the young people and you take care of the senior citizen in your city will grow. Those two things. We taking care of the young folks. We taking care of the young senior citizen. And this city's gonna grow because of that. Not because of what they see up here. They see what they see out there. That's why they're coming. And they're seeing great things happen in the city of Irondale. And that's why they're bringing the business to Irondale. Not because of us. I don't give myself that much credit. Because of, I don't know.
I didn't say
Thank you,
that.
sir.
You're welcome.
Councilman Box, anything you care to contribute?
Robert's Rules of Order does apply to the council. The council president has the gavel. However, seated in that thing with all of the things he's trying to keep up with, he may not see things that may be distracting or disturbing. That's why we, on the dais, can call a point of order from the mayor all the way through. We can announce a point of order to call the council president's attention to something that may be inappropriate, that may be preventing the meeting from moving forward as expeditiously and as productively as possible. So I go back to this. I don't see that we need a resolution to tell us to do that. I see that we need to practice common human courtesy. We need to practice being mature adult individuals. And if we're passionate, that's fine. But we can always speak kindly to each other, and we can always speak courteously to each other. And even if we have a criticism of a point, we can try to form that criticism with some grace and some truth to where it can help that individual try to see our side, even if they still disagree with us. So I would love to see all of us practice more of what Reverend McClure put in play today and more of the scripture that I just shared with us later. And thank you again.
Thank you. Councilman Sims?
Robert's Rules of Order does address decorum in meetings, primarily in the context of maintaining orderly, fair, and respectful discussions while allowing all voices to be heard. All voices to be heard. Public participation and disruptive attendees. If a meeting includes public comment, the same rules of decorum apply. Public attendees cannot interrupt proceedings but must be given a fair time to speak if recognized. If a member of the public becomes disruptive, the chair can ask them to stop, or in extreme cases, request their removal, but only for actual disruption, not simply for expressing an unpopular view. The chair can issue warnings and call for order. Serious infractions require a motion and a vote by the assembly. That'd be us. No single member, including the chair, has unilateral power to remove someone without following proper procedures. So, Robert's Rules of Order already provides a fair and balanced approach to meeting decorum. If we follow those established procedures, there's no need for an overreaching resolution like 2025 R54. Because the public cannot interrupt proceedings, the presiding officer already has authority to handle member and non-member disruptions using fair and established procedures already in place. Forcible removal is not allowed unless there is a real demonstrable disturbance, and even then, it requires a vote of the body. I don't think we need this resolution.
Thank you, sir. I will say, my last 2 minutes here, that I know that y'all are going to talk amongst yourselves. I know that. Very seldomly have we really had to call a point of order on the crowd. I know that y'all have opinions. Some of them may I agree with, some of them might not agree with. I hear things all the times from the crowd. Generally allow it to go on, because I understand that you might have a question. What just happened there, or whatever. I don't agree with him. I think he's an idiot. Whatever. That's fine. That being said, as long as it doesn't get to a point where it's disruptive, I'm okay with it. I tolerate it. And we seem to conduct business just fine. If it becomes needed, then we will address it. So I think historically, I think as far as the gallery is concerned, in its interaction with the dais, I don't have a problem with it. I appreciate you reading down the Robert's Rule of Orders in regards to what would have to proceed in order for something like that to happen, for someone to be dismissed. I still believe that everything we do today, we're already doing it, and we don't have a problem. We don't need a resolution for it. And to clarify a point earlier, item number 3, when it comes to reserved seating, read specifically, reserved seating is strictly limited to elected officials individuals making presentations, and city staff members being recognized. All other seating is available on a first come, first served basis. Reserving seats by the general public is prohibited. So I just want to say that my comment prior stands. If someone from the public is being recognized, I think it's their reasonable duty to be able to reserve a seat, especially if they have a large party. Those are my final comments. Thank you. All right. Deliberation on that item is done. I'm going to assume that since it's a resolution and we've had so much that we will leave this on regular agenda.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8, resolve that resolution 2025 R55 accepts the bid from Argo Building Company LLC in an amount of $8,061,925 even for the construction of Fire Station Number 3 and authorizes Mayor James C. Stewart or his designee to execute an agreement with Argo Building Company LLC to effectuate the bid acceptance. Mayor, is there anything you would like to say about this item?
Well, been talking about putting in a new fire station for a couple of years now. We finally made it to the point that we're in a place to be able to adopt the resolution to accept the bid from Argo Building Company. There were 5 bids, Lee, am I correct? It's 5 bids. 5 bids that was a part of this. You had Amundsen and Associates was $8,905,000. You had Argo, $8,061,925. You had Costin, Costin at $8,335,000. Kaiser, $8,445,000, and Shelby Company LLC. After the base bids have been reviewed by our architect on this project here, which is Charles Williams. Charles is here with Kemp as well. They vetted the bids and recommended that Argo would be the company that the city would need to proceed with to begin the construction on this fire station. One of the questions that was asked was not a storm shelter, but whatever the other room that you would talk about to be a part of this building. And it was not a safe room, whatever is not a part, wasn't in this design. I want to say this summer, I gave a presentation in Roebuck Plaza to say that the city was looking to put the same type of storm shelter that we put at Beacon Park. For some reason, that information got lost. Maybe it got lost during the storm. So I'll just say it blew away with the storm. But this is the bid. We knew that it was coming. There are no surprises about the fire station. And we're ready to move forward with construction on the 4th project of 8 projects. Oh, where's the money coming from? The money came in on August the 13th, 2024, when we went to New York, first of all, to get the rating. And number 2, when we executed the bond issue. So we have the funding in place to be able to begin construction on this building.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lennon, any questions?
I do have 2 questions. This minus 438,075, what is that? It says somewhere in here.
It was the allowance.
That was the allowance.
Or I think I'm correct. Am I correct,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah, that's right. Okay, I see it. That's the deduct.
What happens is with their bids, so I have a number that inside the seal that below, and then on the front of that bag, still they might look okay, negative 455 or something like that.
Oh, because
they have a plug number in there or something else. Then when they actually get the hard number, like the electrical price may come in, they'll mark it down, and that's where we take that away from their actual pay or bid that's in front of them.
Right, so
they're frantically putting these bids together right up
so this 8 is showing here, is it minus the 438? Or
yes, so if you look at that last number, net base bid, those are the numbers. So if we do the math,
but it's under 70.
In parentheses, you
Right.
just take that away from their base bid.
Hey, Charles, would you go to the microphone just so everybody can,
Okay, sorry.
everybody can hear you?
So we have the 8,061,000 minus the 438.
Yes.
So it's less than 8,061,000.
No, it's it was you got to add the 438 to what the base bid to come up with what the
Yeah,
actual
so
bid was.
their base bid, Argo's base bid was 8.5. And then their deduct was 4,000 or $438,075.
Right.
And so you just put that together and you get the 8,061,925.
I got you. Okay. All right. So my second question is, when we gonna see some bulldozers, man?
The trees are going down now.
Now, I don't forget the trees.
Well, the thing about the trees though,
I want the big bulldozers that's building the building.
but all the trees have to be down by March 31st,
So
or we
after
can't
that-
cut them down.
Okay.
Until like November.
So we good.
So, yeah.
All right, that's good.
And it does, there is a safe room, but it's for the actual employees.
Yeah, I was asked if it was for the community.
No, it is not.
Yes.
It is just for the firefighters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead and hang on out here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, couple of questions. Looking at the resolution, we have the funding, and this is a city funding that came from the bonds, correct? I've never seen the designs for this building as a council. We were never given the designs. Where are the designs for the building?
I've not seen designs for the building. I mean, you were a part of the voting process that approved accepting the bonds.
Well, we were, but
Right.
as the owner, and this is the role of the city council, we are supposed, if you look at the contract, that was from Resolution 2023-R-79 dated the 20th of June, 2023. It does say on page 4, the architect shall prepare design documents for the owner's approval consisting of drawings and other documents appropriate for the project. We've never seen them.
Do we have designs for that yet, Mayor?
Yes, we had to have designs. We wouldn't have been able to put it out for
Right,
bid.
Right, they
haven't-
haven't
they
said
haven't
we've
been-
never
And we
seen them.
told you all that we were putting it out for bid,
Right,
which
but
gave you, hold up, don't interrupt me.
Pardon me.
Don't
Hold up. Point of order,
interrupt me.
please.
The mayor,
Point
point
of
of order,
please.
I will pause your time, Councilwoman Cuellar.
Yeah, you got a bad habit of always wanting to
But
Point of
interrupt
order,
folks.
please.
if the point of order is the mayor is answering your question around the design,
There's
so
no
let the man
need to
answer
be
your
rude
question.
and
You
condescending.
can't tell me how to talk.
I'm not being rude. The man is literally answering your question. I have
Yeah.
paused your time.
Yeah, my mother and father's out there in the Montevallo Cemetery. So you don't tell me what to say.
Please answer the question, Mayor.
Okay. Anyway, we knew all about this, so I don't know why we acting like all of a sudden. It's amazing how now it becomes a secret. And I've been talking about this for 2 years. We talked about it going out for bid. You all know that it was going out for bid. Even knew the date that we accepted the bid, but I didn't see anybody here at that time when we accepted the bid. So I say we just need to move forward. If one person don't agree with it, that's fine.
Fair enough. You have a remaining yield back your 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Mr.
Thank you so
Councilwoman
much,
Cuellar.
Council President
Yep.
Spivey. It does state this, that we have never seen the designs. I am asking that you please provide the council with the designs. I am not. This is an essential need in our city. We do need a good fire station, number 3 in our city. That's not the issue here. The issue is the council oversees these properties, whether they're built or not, process. We need to see those designs. And looking at the first agreement, and I do have both revisions that we made. The first agreement on page 14 gives us the percentage, you had a 6.2%, and then on page 14, the terms of the agreement were not to exceed $500,650 without advance written approval. When I calculate that, that's based on $8,75,000. Okay, that was the original price for the budgeted amount for constructing the fire station. Then on January 23rd of 2024, we had a revised resolution, and it amended the total budget and the scope of the work for the new fire station and training. That amended budget said that it's now going to be revised to only include a 4-bay fire station. So that amount should have decreased, not increased. So we had 8,075,000. We eliminated parts, and it's only going to include a 4-bay fire station, but this bid is 8,061,000. So why wasn't there more of a decrease if we amended it to where we only have a 4-bay station?
I believe it was always a 4-bay station.
Well, the resolution says revised to only include a 4-bay fire station.
That's what he just said.
But what I'm saying is, it was amended. This was an amendment. The council was told that this was amended from the original resolution that we approved. So I'm a little confused here, because on June 20th of 2023, it was based on a contract, architect's contract of 500,000 over, but then we amended it and said, well, it's been revised to only include. So what was taken off?
If you would like to-
Originally there would have been two separate like projects. It would have been the fire station, and then on another section of that property would have been the training facility and the building for that. And that was going to be more than $8 million. And so we said the fire station is what's the most important. That's when we separated it. The station stayed the same, but it would have been more than that had we included both those projects. That's why that one got put on the back burner. And that may be where there's some confusion about.
Yeah, that is, because on page 14.
Councilman McQuarrie, thank you. Your first 4 minutes has elapsed.
Okay,
I
I'll
will be more
come
than
back.
happy to come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Box.
Thank you, Council President. Just glad we're getting a fire station. I would say this, I would love to see a conceptual drawing of it. If we almost have to have everything so we could get the bids done. That's a foregone conclusion, that somewhere there exists conceptual drawings, somewhere there exists engineered drawings, and the city's already got that. So when we dig into a contract that says shall be provided, it has been provided. Now, whether it was specifically issued to the council or not, that could be up in the air, but I didn't request drawings. I don't know that that's a standard procedure that the council does request drawings. Generally, it is our city engineers, our mayor, and the team that's putting together, working with the design build and the architect, that gets the drawings. So the mayor says we've got them. If we want to see them, I'm sure the mayor will make them available.
Yes,
if
I don't.
they're not available.
I mean, I don't have a problem with. I mean, we
I just
can.
want to see a nice picture.
Yeah, we can provide you with a set of technical plans, the same one that Charles put out to bid. So it's not a problem being able to do that. But what I am saying, I don't want to go back to the drawing board now to start all over again just because one person didn't see the plans. So
Anyway, I think it's great. I wouldn't know what to do with the engineer drawing. Maybe Mr. Bavona or someone in the audience that has a lot more expertise would, but we're past that point now. We're at the point of getting this thing built, which is needed, especially for out in my district. So those are my comments. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Sims.
Yeah, I've not seen drawings, but again, just like Councilor Box said, we're not the drawings police. We don't do anything with drawings. February the 12th. This was posted online by the mayor, the rendering. So if anyone missed it, you can go back to Facebook, look for it, February the 12th. Looks beautiful. Can't wait to have it built. Hopefully we'll get all those trees down by the 31st and not have to wait for however many months that is till November. Many more months than we don't want to wait. I guess my one question is, once it does start, what is the projected project time again to be, I guess, the goal?
So it's 420 days. So
Okay.
however many months that is.
Somewhere next summer.
Yeah.
Give or take. All right. Well, we'll hope the weather holds, and I'm looking forward to seeing this thing get built. Thank you.
I have heard that ringer about 5 times. I don't know who's guilty, but if you could address that, I'd appreciate it. My 4 minutes. Basically, I drove down Derby, saw the corner where everything's getting cut down. Have y'all cut down all the trees that you need to cut down yet, or you still have some more progress?
I think Kelton,
Yes. Mhm. And you're tracking in the right direction? Copy. I have seen the conceptual plans. I did not know that was on Facebook because I've been trying to avoid that lately. But I did see a conceptual a drawing. Their architectural drawings don't interest me because I'm not smart enough to understand them. So that's the only reason I kind of looked at you like if you had presented them because I haven't looked for them. But anyway, so I know that if you're involved in it, all the projects that you've been involved in and your team have been involved in are fantastic. So I trust, like I said to you, when we first met the night that we brought y'all on, you're holding a lot of responsibility for the city. Y'all have done fantastic thus far, and I have no doubt that you will continue to do thus far. So I have this is the bid that was accepted. Thank you for answering the questions that you have thus far. I'm going to return some time to one of my peers here, so please, if you would remain. Councilman London, do you desire to take your final 2 minutes? All right. Councilwoman Quayer, your last
Yes,
2 minutes.
I want to make sure, Mr. Williams, I don't doubt your abilities at all. I'm just simply reading the contracts and what the council was to receive, and it was drawings, and it does say other documents appropriate for the project, which we never got. And if we could please have these documents. There was an issue where we were talking about our police department, some fitness training equipment, a fitness plan for them for workouts. And I wanted them to have their own fitness training center, just like our firemen were going to have their own. And I did not know what was in the municipal complex. I had no idea what was there. Had I known that, I wouldn't have even looked at the building that's right across the street as their fitness training center. So this is why it's important that the council does have these things, because we are the ones that are making these decisions, and we need to be informed and have the information so that we can make good ones. That it was not anything on you at all, so please don't be led to believe that that was the case. Thank you so much for explaining what happened with the first project, Police Chief Daniels. Thank you so much for bringing that clarification. That really helped to understand the resolutions that we've had in the past. Those are my comments, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
I'm good. Let's move.
All right. Councilman Sims?
If y'all get up against it with those trees, I'm pretty sure we can get some volunteers that last couple of days. And we'll take care of them.
I just keep the firewood.
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you. Do we recommend this for consent since we have a budgeted source? Yes. Or do we, or Councilman London, you say yes? Councilwoman Quayle, say you?
I'm good with it. Yes.
Okay. Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims? Myself? All right. Item number 8 on consent. Item number 9, ordain that ordinance 2025-07 amends chapter 10 of the municipal code of the city of Irondale, Alabama to regulate the use of telecommunications devices in school zones. Councilman London, this is yours. Care to introduce?
Yeah, real quick. What sparked my attention, working in school zones, the state of Alabama, 2026-27 would go into effect that they're passing a law to take cell phones out of the high school. No more cell phones in the high school, no more cell phone in the classroom. So this sparked my attention to do something for our kids in the school zone, which is very dangerous. You know, sometimes a lot of people are in a hurry on the phone, doing different things in the morning. So I just want to make sure we protecting them in our schools here in Irondale. And so this ordinance is for that, that you cannot use your cell phones in the school zone.
Gotcha.
Very simple.
Councilwoman Quayle, any questions?
Yes, just wanted to make a comment. I met with the city attorney about this one for the benefit of our audience. I asked, you know, this is a wireless telecommunication devices that are prohibited. Now, the state of Alabama does have a distracted driving law in force right now. So anyone that is seen operating or doing texting and driving and trying to read, they can be pulled over. This one is different in that it has to do with driving through the school zone, and you're totally not to use them at all, and they are prohibited while you're operating in a school zone. So that is the difference, in case anyone wants to know, well, gee whiz, Alabama's already got a law, distracted driving. That's not what it's about. This has to do with the fact that they're prohibited while you're operating a vehicle. Those are my comments. This is great. Thank you so much, Councilor London.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
Councilor Lundy, I just wanted to make sure on this now, because many people nowadays have the capability of being on their phone in their vehicle, so they're not holding it in their hand. So I didn't really see whether this, are you forbidding people to be on their vehicle phone?
On this wireless communication phone, cell phone.
So,
Yeah.
well, okay,
Holding it to you.
yeah, I understand that, but
Yeah.
if they're speaking through the speaker system in their car,
It's gonna be hard to detect that.
well, that's what I'm saying, but this ordinance
Address
does
that.
not.
It does not.
So that would be the only thing that, do we need to make some provisions in that, April, or does it address that?
Ordinance says that you cannot operate a wireless telecommunication device, and that shall include engaging in a call. So that would be if you're engaging in that phone call, even over your phone, even over your
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth or whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the way that this is like, if you're between the two signs, in an actual school zone, then you shouldn't be using your cell phone. That's the way that this is written.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Councilman, would you consider modifying that? Because if I'm driving through the school zone and I'm in the middle of a important conversation.
Finish it before you get to the school zone.
So what now?
Finish it up before you get to the school zone. Just a joke. It's just a, don't take that. It's just a joke.
I'm trying to ask you, sir, would you consider modifying it to where if someone is using their car phone, they're not holding the device in their hand, they're speaking through their speaker system, they're speaking through their microphone, and they're hearing through their car stereo system, they're not as likely to be distracted, because I understand holding a device, but speaking and engaging that thing, this was the discussion I had with Councilman Saunders years ago, that you're asking somebody to say, oh, wait a minute, I've got to pause this $50,000 deal because I'm about to come up on a school zone. Or better yet, I'm a mom in line and I'm going to be late getting back home to get my other child. So I'm on my phone saying, hey, I'm going to be late. Tell Johnny just to wait there at the house for me. I think we need to modify this where people can use their car phone, but not be using a handheld device. That's my comments, Councilman.
Councilman Sims?
Thank you, Councilor London, for this. I do, now after clarifying all this, I do agree with Councilor Box. Hands-free, just, two hands on the wheel, going where I'm going, having a conversation with someone not in the car, I would be okay with. Definitely, not holding a device in my hand. I don't know how many times I'm picking up one kid and the other kid is like, hey, I missed the bus, or I'm trying to figure out which entrance do you need me to be at the school, while I'm, hands-free waiting to turn into one of the schools. So I get definitely some of those examples that Councilor Box said. So I like the not holding a phone while in a school zone thing. Like if we could change it to communicating hands-free is okay somehow, if y'all would be okay with that, I would lean towards that direction myself also.
Legal?
I need to clarify under section 10-262, it does remove from the definition of a wireless telecommunications device any component that is permanently affixed to a motor vehicle, and it would not include a hands-free wireless phone. So that would be where you all
That's where you-
wanted to
It's in-
land
it's in
there. It is. It's under
10-16.
section 10-262.
Okay, well, it says,
That
it says
second paragraph.
permanently affixed. So you're talking, my Bluetooth, since it's permanently affixed, it allows me to do that? I would be allowed to use, or any citizen would be allowed to use that cell phone. The cell phone's not permanently affixed, but the Bluetooth being permanently affixed, and I'm using the cell phone through the Bluetooth.
Because that would be a hands-free wireless
That's considered
device.
hands-free wireless, so
That's
that
what
would
I
be
would say.
acceptable
Correct.
under this ordinance as written.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I believe you're hanging on. I'll go ahead and start mine. Legal, one moment. I believe you're referring to a wireless telecommunication device shall not include any device or component that is permanently affixed to a motor vehicle. It does not include a hand-free wireless telephone or electronic communication device used hands-free, citizen band radio, citizen band hybrids, yada yada yada. So I mean, reinforcing this kind of lands where, but I mean, that being said, honestly, I get the hands-free thing. I've done something stupid when talking on my hands-free phone. My phone was not in my hand, and I was sitting at a red light, and got the green arrow and shot right through the straight, because I wasn't paying enough attention, even though I was on hands-free. So I don't mind it being aggressive, but I think it's landed where pretty much where everybody would agree. I appreciate you bringing this forward. I brought this up to a previous police chief. I'm not saying anything negative there, but there seemed to be some difficulty at that time to do something like this, and to my fault, I never brought it back up. So I greatly appreciate you for bringing this back up. When I saw it, I was overjoyed. So thank you very much. Do we require round two on this?
No, I
No?
think we got the clarity.
Perfect.
We're good.
It is an ordinance, so it must stay on regular agenda. All right. So we have deliberated on all of our items tonight. At this time, I would ask for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the form of the agenda with adjustments to the consent agenda as addressed on item 2, 2025 R49, and adding, item 8, resolution 2025 R55 to the consent agenda.
We have a
Second.
motion. We have a second by Councilman Sins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now that we have an approved agenda, at this time, we would accept public comments on agenda items only.
Pavona, 1296 Shades Terrace, supporting Resolution 54. I've been up here before, and I've been disrupted by an individual down there. He was not escorted out because he was a friend of yours. Should have been, wasn't. And I am shocked at how my counselor, an Hispanic female, is constantly disrespected if none of you do anything. Heck, I've watched all of you bow your heads during opening prayer and then 5 minutes later allow ugly, condescending attacks on Counselor Cuellar. And it continues. Because Counselor Cuellar is the only one who questions our debt, the city expenses, lead in tap water, opposes tax dollars to an anti-ICE nonprofit, questions the mayor's $40 a month car washes and why no building permit for a gym under construction, and fights for the minimum wage and eliminating the greedy city's occupational tax. But she gets ridiculed for doing her job. Why? Because she doesn't use one of these. I ask myself how each of you sleep. I've seen vulgarity multiple times against a businessman on a forum, intimidation on me, and we have been called lowly citizens here. Councilor Cuellar deserves dignity and respect for doing her job, questioning how our tax dollars are spent. And Councilor Cuellar, I and many others have your back.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only? All right. I'm sorry?
Okay, Michelle Barclay, 1118 Carl Daly Trace. With all due respect, I disagree.
Wait.
No, it's okay.
Addressing me?
She
Sorry,
can
I
she
was
can
saying
make
I'm
her
sorry.
comments. She can make a comment.
I apologize.
She can make a
I
comment.
disagree with the gentleman that spoke before me. I appreciate my councilwoman's passion for the position. I feel that some of the discrepancies that are raised on this platform should be taken care of behind closed doors. Because I do feel like it gets to a personal level that doesn't involve any of us. And we shouldn't be privy to a lot of the disgruntledness because we don't have anything to do with it. We can't speak on it. But if you're gonna talk about coming and being respectful, on the January 21st council meeting, a vote didn't go your way. And you commented using a curse word. And I heard it, and I didn't think I heard it right. I kind of let it go, but the person next to me thought the same thing. And then somebody actually posted it on Facebook and caught it. And so where I'm going with this is that sometimes my face deceives me. I couldn't sit up there and do your job because it would read how irritated I was with stuff. And I feel that sometimes maybe you don't realize how you do the same thing. And there is a lot of interruption and a lot of disagreeing with the president or the mayor or the attorney. It just doesn't bode well. So I think we can do better with the way that we react, of course, but I would like to ask the same of you, because you reflect my district directly. And so a lot of times when you're really pushing something, you're saying my citizens or my constituents, you're not speaking for me. And I don't want you to speak for me if that's the manner that you're going to speak in. But I do appreciate what you do and the angles that you're trying to get and the information that you're trying to go after.
Thank
I
you.
just wish maybe you'd
Thank you.
Point of order, Council President. Point
If
of
you
order.
are, I'm curious to see what you have to say because she is
Yes.
fully in right to make a comment.
Yes. When I make the comments, my constituents, those are the ones that contact me.
I appreciate the clarification.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
Donna Pike, 440 East Ventura Drive. I want to say that I am thrilled to see the land being cleared for the new fire station number 3. Not for our community, of course, but for our firemen. Our firemen have lived in the not ideal circumstances in many years. And for them to get this new fire station, oh my goodness, it makes my heart sing. But I think that you should be given some drawings. Is it going to withstand 250 mile an hour winds, or the next set of tornadoes when we spend over $8 million? Is it going to be blown away? Do you know that? No, you don't. A work session, gentlemen and ladies, would save all of this, where you could discuss it among yourselves and not bring it out here. And not go over scripture and not go over Robert's Rules of Order. You can do that in the council office. But I want to say also that you need to look. You need to see how well built this fire station is. $8 million of our tax money, and nobody's seen a drawing. Nobody's seen anything. Thank you, sir, for what you've done. But that's not helping us. See, these televisions, they were installed when I was on the council. You know why? So people, architects, and construction people could lay their drawings and information on the table and everybody could see it. I've never seen these televisions on. Had a table right here.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
everybody could see.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
I'm just saying that there could be a
Thank
lot
you.
of improvements.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items only?
I'm Mary Scherer at 5276 Amber Hills Road. I'm really excited about the fire station too. It's so long overdue. And
Wonderful.
Point of order, guys. Please.
I know about the old fire station. I've been in there many times. And it is, I'm sure by now, very, very run down. So bravo. I did want to talk a little bit about the council decorum, the R54 resolution. When you're up here, and even when you all are talking, I'm back there, and we like to hear you. Even if I don't like what you're saying, I like to hear you. I like to hear you if I'm watching you on TV. And we need the mics up close. We need to be sure they're working. We need to be sure that we can see that we're not distracted when I'm up here speaking. I wouldn't expect you to distract me, and hopefully that you all won't distract each other. So Robert's rules, this one, however it goes, we just need to be sure that we're not distracting each other, that if we get rowdy out here, appreciate sometimes we're sitting back there going, I can't hear because somebody's tweeting behind me or, yakking. So appreciate all of those things. If we don't use the Roberts rules, I am absolutely for this. I don't think that there's a whole lot of difference in, and I got the comments late too, but we do need to have some sort of rules for decorum. It's happened, most of the city council meetings you see on TV, they have rules. So whichever, whether we need new rules or we need some revised rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on on agenda items? Yes.
Kimberly Miles Stewart, 4030 Nicole Drive, and what I have presented to you is the actual picture of where Councilor Cuellar was recording last week during the council meeting, regardless of her shaking her head. But I will say this decorum issue resolution is more like a mind control resolution, because she's attempting to tell us how to think, when to walk, when to breathe. And it is a true deflection from being caught filming at the last council meeting, because no one makes faces at you. No one makes faces at you to intimidate you to vote a certain way, because it only takes a majority to pass an ordinance or a resolution. It doesn't take the whole council. So to say that was improper. And in reference to how to act, I agree with her. At that meeting, when you didn't get your way, you said, this is SHITTY. You called Councilman Sims a liar during that same meeting. And on March 7th last year, you became so belligerent and disruptive that President Spivey had to immediately adjourn the meeting, and huffing and puffing the last meeting when the mayor was talking, and he had to ask you not to be rude, and you said, well, you're talking too long, which was like really strange. Just tonight, when Councilman London talked about the 39 new businesses coming, you said those are not real businesses. That's horrible. If you're concerned about attracting businesses, those businesses create real tax revenue dollars. Just because they're not standalone, that doesn't mean they're not a real business. You have high-rise offices downtown, and it's a lot of suites in there. Those are real businesses. So I just think a lot of the things that you have put in that really applies to you, because you've been really disrespectful to the majority of the citizens and the businesses.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Do we have any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, sir.
All right. I have some questions. I know I can't compel y'all to answer, but on this last ordinance 2025-7, can I sit in my car in a parking space at the school waiting on my children and use my phone? Because as it's written, that's a ticketable offense because I'm in a school zone. My navigation, if I were to be driving past a school and not be from here, got off the highway, and I'm using my navigation, I don't know the local laws. I don't know this ordinance. So I'm going to get a ticket by the way it's written because I'm using my navigation going by somewhere I don't know. But I slowed down and I observed all other rules. I think it's too vaguely written to, one, be enforceable. Is this to be able to write a bigger ticket for the police department? Which I believe they should be able to if you're using, oh, thank you. If you're using your phone, holding it in your hand, and you're distracted, I think definitely a bigger ticket is in order. And I think Alabama law currently provides for that as well, but I think backing it up would be good. As far as decorum, everything that is asked for here is already provided for under the Open Meetings Act and rules of decorum in public spaces. We have ways to handle it: disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace. Those are things that can be done. When David asked for the officer in the courtroom to handle a situation after a warning, that is what happens. They get dragged out and charged with something, and then it has to be proven in a court. I think we need to leave it that way. Now, if we want this side of the room to act better, I think this side of the room needs to display the decorum that's talked about.
Thank you, sir.
Council President Spivey.
Yes, ma'am.
There is an exception that if you are actually operating a wireless, telecommunications device while you are lawfully parked, that would not be underneath this.
And I did point out, I put in parentheses, roads or highways on the copy that I provided. Thank you. Fair concern. Appreciate you bringing it to light. Any other comments on agenda items only? Agenda items only, going once, going twice, sold. All right, that being said, we have fully deliberated and heard all of our comments. So at this time, I ask for an approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the aforementioned changes and the addition of item 8.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. On to item number 6 on the regular agenda, if that could be so moved.
Move Resolution 2025 R53 appointing Von Barclay as Director of the Commercial Development Authority be approved.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. That passes. Thank you. If we could go ahead and get a movement on 2025 R54.
I make a motion that resolution 2025-R-54 be approved.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
No.
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 That was, just to make sure I heard it, Councilman London, your position was?
No.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
No.
Councilman Sims?
No.
And myself, no. Motion fails. Item number 8 was handled previously on consent. If we could go ahead and get a movement on ordinance 2025-07.
Motion ordinance 2025-07 be considered read.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to suspend all rules to prevent the immediate ordinance of 2025-07.
Second.
Motion, second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Motion that ordinance 2025-07 be approved.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. With no other business tonight.